Last 2 weeks, we had baptisms. I don't know what you think, but I enjoy them a lot. Did you have a good time? Yeah, I think we really had a good time. We will cherish all the joy, laughter, and blessings we share. And last Sunday especially, I was anxious about whether my baby Luke would deliver the flow well to Shane, who was baptized. And he made his way, to the front and presented it to the family, which I was delighted and thankful. But then remember what happened? He didn't let it go at first. He's like, he was holding on to it. And I was like, oh my. And as he was going away, as his mom was pulling him away, he was screaming. It's like, Appa, Appa, Appa. And it was like, Daddy. So it's like, Daddy, Daddy. I think another memorable moment was when Shane was baptized. You know what she was doing? She was sleeping. She was sleeping. But when the baptism was over, she woke up. She woke up. And when I was doing the parade, she seemed enjoying the moment. She enjoyed it, looking at people. But at the last moment, her face changed because she realized that the man holding her was not her dad, but some guy she didn't know. But anyway, she and Kenji, those little babies, they behaved so well, and I was so proud of them. And I want to thank both families, Karen's family and Bruce or Diana's family, and friends and neighbors for giving us such a heartwarming experience and memory, as well as good food. Right? What a good memory. So, that's the past. Something special. Now, we are back to normal. The excitement of baptism is over, and now we have what we have usually. I'm not only talking about the number of people attending Sunday service, but also talking about the text we are reading and listening. For the last 2 weeks, we explore what baptism is and is about from Romans 6. Now we are back to Mark's Gospel and find Jesus on the way to Jerusalem to suffer and die for his people. So today, Jesus is leaving Jericho to go up to Jerusalem. On the way, he meets the blind man named Timaeus, Barnabas' son, and Timaeus, so the son of Timaeus. So he hears that Jesus is passing by and begins calling him, Jesus, son of David, have mercy on me. He probably heard of what he has done, Jesus has done, how he healed the sick, fed the hungry, and made the lame to walk. Then how does the disciples and the crowd respond to him? Do they encourage him to do so, or they discourage him? They discourage him. The Bible says many sternly ordered him to be quiet. They basically told him, stop, keep your mouth, don't bother the teacher, he is busy. But guess what? He cried out even more loudly, Son of David, have mercy on me. He is tenacious. And I want to call his faith tenacious faith. Though he was blind, he knew that people didn't like him and screaming out. More importantly, he knew what he wanted. what he needed the recovery of his sight. Today's text reminds me of the story of my Old Testament professor, John Hayes. After graduating and getting his PhD from Christian Theological Seminary in New Jersey, he wanted to teach at Canberra School of Theology in Emory University in Atlanta. But he is one of those people who don't really fit the box. You know what I'm saying? You know those people, they don't fit in the box. For example, he drove 3.5 hours from his farmhouse in Alabama to teach in Atlanta, and he drove back on the same day. How many hours? 3.5 hours. And if you want to get a job, what do? You apply, right? You submit your application. But he didn't apply. Rather, he put his desk and chair in the hallway and sit there after class, for years. He was an instructor, but in order to be a professor, it's like tenure position, he had to apply, but he didn't. So he put his chair and desk in the hallway and just sitting there. One day, the dean of the school, Dr. James Maney, who later became the president of Emory University and later became the ambassador to South Korea, he was passing by and saw him and asked him, "What are you doing here? And what can I do for you?" And Hayes says, "I want this job." And guess what happened? He got that job. He got hired. He didn't scream though, like Methodist. But just like the blind beggar, he was tenacious, waiting for his time to come. I think sometimes that's all that takes. That's all that needs, because sometimes there is nothing else we can do. People were irritated, annoyed, and thus yelling at him, "Stop, be quiet." But what can Bartimaeus do? Nothing else. But this Jesus is all he could hope for. He had no money, no family, no hope except this man. So he cried out, even more loudly, "Son of David, have mercy on me." And Jesus does not pass by, but stand by and call him, and see what he does. The blind beggar, he throws off his cloak, which is all he had at the time, probably the most precious possession he had. Without it, he couldn't survive the night. He springs up and comes to Jesus, and as soon as Jesus asks him, "What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do?" He answers, "Rabboni, teacher." Let me see again. I want to see. His fierce, relentless, and tenacious faith hit me hard because of the story I heard from a Korean TV last week. The story was about a family whose members had a strange tattoo on their arms, I think on their left. It is basically a cross and 4 dots underneath it. So there is a big cross and 4 dots underneath it. 45 years ago, 2 brothers were given to the orphanage when they were little by their father. their father became disabled at work. Their mother left them, leaving her children behind. And the father figured out he couldn't raise his children by himself. He was disabled. What can he do? So one night, he brought his children together and painstakingly put tattoos on their arms and his arms, a huge cross and 4 dots at the bottom, and children were crying. And he was crying. The father was crying. The next day, he handed them to the orphanage, told them, I will come back and find you. I will come back and find you. And left them. He wanted his children to have basic necessities he couldn't offer. Clothes, food, and shelter. And he wanted a visual sign to find them. A cross and 4 dots. You know what this tattoo signifies? His family praying for the cross, so that one day they may come together. The question is, why 4 dots? Father, 2 brothers. Why 4 dots? There was another one, a little daughter, who was also sent to the orphanage that day. But since she was so little, she was separated from her brothers in the course of time, and they heard later that she was adopted by a family where? In the United States. Still searching for their lost sister, they found on Facebook a photo of the tattoo, a cross, and 4 dots on the arm. As soon as they saw it, they knew it's their sister, because it's a strange tattoo. They knew it. They contacted her, actually their uncle contacted her. She was a lawyer, a successful career woman working in a corporation and living in Utah. And she was also looking for her biological parents as an adopted. At first she was excited because finally she found her brothers. But when they had DNA test, guess what happened? It did match or didn't match? Didn't match. The excitement turned into disappointment. They were lost. Well, they had the same tattoo on their arm. It should match, right? Now how come? Then the uncle revealed the truth. Guess what? The 2 brothers and the sister had different mothers. Yeah, different mothers. Since one's DNA is dominated by mothers, not fathers. I just learned that. Okay. One's DNA is dominated by mothers. They barely had DNA in common. The same DNA in common. But guess what? She looked exactly like her dad. She looked exactly like her dad. Oh my goodness. So finally, her family, her husband and her 2 sons came to Korea, and they had a family reunion in 45 years. In 45 years. But the one who planned and prayed for this reunion, the father, he was there or he was not there? He was not there. He passed away. He was at the Chanel, Charnel, is that the right? A funeral home, something like that. So he was there. He passed away several years ago. The story ended with the scene where two brothers and their sister praying before their deceased father, just like the tattoo their father put on the arms. And it was his will to find his family and bring his family back together. This will of the Father that made this miracle possible. It was his faith that one day his children will come together. Though he was crying while putting a tattoo on his children's arms. They were crying and father was crying, and that really hit me. Because he had no other way. It was the faith of two brothers that one day they find their sister. They never stopped giving it up. In other words, it was their tenacity that touched the heart of God, I believe. Touched the heart of God in heaven and made this miracle possible 45 years later. Teacher, I want to see his relentless faith also touched the heart of Jesus. He says, go, your faith has made you well. As if the missing piece, the last piece of puzzle is not his power to heal, not Jesus' power to heal, but the faith of the blind man. The story says, immediately he regained his sight and followed him on the way. And I hope you remember that where God's mighty hands and our tenacious faith meet, that's where miracle takes place. That's where healing, restoration, discipleship, the following begin. Let me repeat. Where God's mighty hands and our tenacious faith meet, that's where miracle takes place. So my friends, in Jesus Christ, do have prayers and hopes that seem taking so long, too far to come and fading away, and people even say to you, forget it, that's not going to happen. And I hope that you do what the blind beggar Bartimaeus did. Just cry out to our Savior even more loudly. Your cry will catch him who is passing by. You will touch him. Touch his heart. He will call on you and he will touch you. And you know what happens when he touches you. You'll be made whole. And you'll be following him just like Bartimaeus. So let us be tenacious in trusting him, because God will cherish our faith and say to us, go, it's your faith. Your faith has made you well. Amen.